All right, GMs, everybody, welcome to the Swarm Report, your daily destination for, hey, all things AI. Cutie, you are first. I see you there. Great to see you here on the AI show. Hey, I have a special guest today. One of my favorite people from really across this space. It's crypto, it's NFTs, and AI too. My friend Confusion. Again, he knows. He's my. Maybe you've heard me say before. This man's my quant. Okay, take that for what it's worth. You probably want to follow him. I'll put his details on the screen. But Confusion, welcome, man.
Hey Hudah, how's it going?
That's great. It's great. Better with you here, actually. I've been looking forward to, actually, for a long time, we've chatted about doing some kind of AI something, whether it's spaces or it turns out, this. Been looking forward to this. So, yeah, great to have you here, man.
Yeah, likewise.
Um, let's go through the socials, what you need to be paying attention to, what you need to be following. Of course, make sure you follow us on SlamX Official on YouTube. Catch up on the Chain Reactor morning show. We cover crypto, NFTs. We touch AI, but I'm starting to save AI for this special afternoon show. So make sure you subscribe over there. Of course, follow SlamAI_XYZ over on X. Keep up with everything happening in the SlamAI ecosystem, including the flagship AI agent. Details coming very, very soon. Some big announcements. That's the Swarm_AI. Make sure you're following that. I don't know if it's a him or her, by the way. I don't know, and I don't know if AI agent should be like have a gender. Is that a he or a her? Can you tell from the image? I'm going with her, and I think I'm wrong about it according to the team. Confusion, you got a pick here.
Uh, Maybe a him. I'll go the other side.
Him. All right. Well, that's what the team told me, and I've got it wrong. All right. Well, he's going to be pretty killer. Some of you guys know a good amount about him. Again, more details are coming here soon. I will keep you definitely plugged in here. And then finally, make sure you follow Crypto Slam IO over on X. All right, let's get into it, guys. We're going to touch on the market here today, some top stories. A lot of macro talk today, and some of this is a continuation from yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about JD Vance speaking at the AI Action Summit in Paris. And a little continuation here, something I think is very interesting. I've been thinking a lot about investments in AI. A lot of us think that there's a lot of money about to come into this space, and we've seen maybe tip of the iceberg of it with how we've at least been trading AI agents. But we know at like the VC level, the investments level, something else is happening here. So yesterday at the AI Summit, you have the EU commissioner talking about a big investment into AI infrastructure and building an AI in Europe. It's a $200 billion investment that's through something called Invest AI. So just to set the stage with the kind of money that's being allocated to AI, recently we heard about Stargate project, which to me is really, really exciting. This was here in the States about a month ago, I think. This is Sam Altman and a few other big players. And that was a $500 billion investment. I need you guys to hear the way Sam Altman is talking about that $500 billion and giving a little context for how we're going to look at that in maybe just a few years. Check this out. In Confusion afterwards, I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, and you're raising at the moment $40 billion led by SoftBank?
Well, that's just for Stargate. Yeah, Stargate is the much bigger project. Stargate is a $500 billion project to build a very large train and inference system. It sounds crazy big now. I bet it won't sound that big in a few years. And if we get to do this again, which I hope we do, you'll be like, you're raising $5 trillion for a cluster? What the? I'll be like, yeah, well, you got to keep going.
That's a crazy number he just threw out there. He threw out the number $5 trillion. $5 trillion. And look, if we didn't have the stage set a couple months back with NVIDIA CEO saying even just AI agents, that small sector of AI agents, a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. If we didn't hear that, I would think Sam's crazy. But at this point, and that little tip of the iceberg that we've experienced here, let's say, a month or two ago, I don't think I'm surprised about that, but maybe I'm alone. Confusion, is that number shocking to you? And is he warming us up for what's coming, or is he just talking maybe optimistically with $5 trillion?
Yeah, 5 trillion is insane. Like, not gonna lie, I even thought, was it 100 billion Elon offered? That was pretty crazy as well. I mean, maybe it could get there one day, but yeah, 5 trillion just sounds way too high. But it is kind of a good setup for AI, I guess. Like, when you have headlines like this, it brings a lot more interest back into the AI sector.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like with Michael Saylor talking about Bitcoin being what, like 10 million per coin and 15, and I think his bull case scenario is like 25 million per coin. I'm like, is it the same thing? You talk very optimistically about it, like you said, for headlines, or look, there's this scenario I play out in my head all the time. It's the way like Raoul Pal talks about crypto. And he talks about how AI is going to kind of change the world, and that the way we value money is going to change too. So, maybe you could say that $5 trillion in, let's say, 5 years is not going to be worth what it's worth today. Like the kind of change that's coming is so significant. Maybe it plays into that, but regardless, that's a pretty big number. I'll say this: hearing him say it, and then the CEO of NVIDIA saying it, and still feeling the energy that's still here in AI. Look, I don't know if it's as crazy as it sounds. It might be, but I don't know. And again, also hearing JD Vance speak yesterday, which, by the way, did you happen to hear JD Vance speaking at this summit?
No, I didn't.
Oh, highly, highly, highly encourage you to check it out. Dude, it's only 15 minutes. It's excellent. Like, you just hear, you hear the conviction. You hear how, the United States, it's pretty clear, are very driven to be like dominant in AI, and you hear that in the way he's speaking about it there. Dude, you should definitely check it out. I'll send you a link here after, but he's a great speaker. It's a great 15 minutes to hear how people are positioning themselves for this AI wave that's coming. Rocky, great to see you, man.
Oh, nice. US does seem the place to be, honestly, for everything, like in tech, right? Both crypto and AI. It just seems to be, with Trump and JD Vance there, it just seems to be US, especially like maybe Texas is kind of like the place to be.
Yeah, when are you moving here?
And just need a company to sponsor me, and I'll be there.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's get into some market points here. Also, actually, I'll show this real quick. Connor King, just showing historical trends or historical VC investments here in AI, and you just see the very clear pattern that it's just it's heading one direction. Last year, $110 billion dollars in VC investments here in AI. This year projected, and I've seen a whole. I'm not even going to throw out a specific number because there's been a big old range, but I've seen some projections that we could see up to 500 billion in investments this year. And again, if you just go with Stargate project alone, that's a $500 billion raise all by itself. So we'll probably see as we get deeper into the year what kind of numbers and what kind of investments we're looking at. But it's probably safe to say it's going to blow last year away. Just guessing here. All right, so Confusion, I like to start here by looking at cookie.fund. Love the platform. Looking at market cap, just a review of top agents, top infrastructure, top DeFi. I do have some comments about DeFi today, but total market cap here in AI, just barely hanging on to that $7 billion mark. I will be honest, I'm pretty surprised at how low we are. I have the wild predictions. I said we'd be at 100 billion this year at some point. We might have agreed on that number at some point. I don't quite remember, but is that number also crazy at this point? $100 billion market cap for this AI ecosystem?
It does seem pretty low right now. I think it does feel like the energy and sentiment's a bit down though, so I can see why. And there's not much liquidity, so people move from to different things that are going on in the space. But yeah, I definitely can see it coming back. It just, I think we need like something new now. We've had like frameworks, we've had agents. Maybe we need maybe it's one of those, but just like an advanced version, or just more kind of things, more kind of interesting things to do in the AI.
So do you think, let's do the Hopium scenario. Did you ever think we would see maybe 100 billion market cap, like including all the AI tokens? Maybe just the AI agent ones and even the infrastructure plays around the agents. Did you ever see a scenario where we'd hit 100 billion? And if so, do you still see that scenario?
Yeah, I did initially see it when everything was going up. You kind of get into like this euphoria kind of space. And things were kind of interesting, like these frameworks like AI 16Z and ARC. And then you had agents like AI XBT. It was all brand new stuff. It was really interesting. But I think then we just hit like a plateau, and then you had things like DeepSeek come out, which apparently was made for a lot less than ChatGPT. I don't know if that's actually true, but like you had like things that kind of made what we see in crypto look overvalued. So I do think we'll get there. I just think we need a bit more innovation, because I think the current set of things are potentially overvalued. for now, but they keep building, so I'm sure eventually I think what we need is like an agent with a really good agent or something, because if you're buying a framework with like nothing there, it's like buying like an Apple operating system with no apps. You kind of need apps to be there, and then that would give value to both the agents, give value to both the framework and also the overall kind of market cap of AI agents.
Yeah, it makes sense. I wonder if a lot of these like projects, which the projects are just often just agents. I wonder if a lot of them are about to get exposed for not being much more than like what we already knew they were, which most of them just like a little chat bot, just like an LLM or chat GPT that's just skinned as like a person. Again, there's not a lot of substance to some of these things. That said, like some of those early movers, they have that early mover advantage, and tokens still, all things considered, are cooking. I mean, we've got Fartcoin, and we're going to look real quick at agents and market caps, but Fartcoin is the top agent by market cap. Fartcoin's weird to call an agent, even though it's categorized as that. It doesn't, I don't know. I don't know if that's cheating to call that one an agent. It's a meme coin inspired by an agent, right? But regardless, doing well, $539 million market cap.
Nice.
Faye right behind it. Turbo, I'm still very shocked Turbo's doing what it's doing, considering it was probably the first AI-inspired token, period. I just did not think it would be... I did not think that would be one to survive the way it is in this market, especially. And then we have Toshi. I'll just do the top 5 here. And AIXBT is, wow, dude, all the way down to a $200 million market cap. I'm really surprised by that, too. Wow.
Yeah, is kind of surprising, but also I think because the attention just dropped. Even I used to see AIXBT all the time. Everyone would ask it questions. I'm seeing that a bit less. Because it keeps making mistakes. But it is definitely one of the best agents. It just needs a bit of improvement, and then I'm sure I could see it go lower, but then I'm sure longer term it will still do well.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on agents like AIXPT and still how high I think they can go. I'm a big time optimist. I'm a permabull for the most part. But dude, we should chat in a bear market though. You'll probably hear nobody that's more bearish when in the bear market. But to Moonship's point here, how is Fartcoin an agent? Terminal of Truth Tweet. I mean, yes, and that's why it feels strange. It's like, maybe if you count that as an agent, you maybe need to add the GOAT market cap plus Fartcoin. You know what I mean? It's just a little different, the fact that there's 2 tokens. Neither of them truly are an agent. They're just meme coins inspired by it. But also I get that Cookie.fun has probably got a little challenging position there in having to classify everything, make everything fit in these 3 categories, and maybe they're not all perfect fits. And you'll even see some of these tokens that fit in multiple categories. You'll see them actually in a few. By infrastructure, we'll also go by market cap here, just see who our leaders are, and we'll do this really quick. But Virtual is there at the top with an $840 million market cap. We saw just also is live on Solana as of yesterday. I don't know if that's Wormhole or if it's a whole separate I'm not going to say I understand that perfectly, but you can also trade Virtual on Solana now. AI16Z is actually, guys, really starting to cook. We saw it just a few days ago at low 300s. I mean, we even saw just a few days before that in the $200 million range, and you're basically getting close to a 2x here. ARC at number 3, VVV, and Cookie. And then DeFi, and I want you guys to remember that term DeFi if you're not familiar with it. We will be talking about that a little more. But VVV, who we also just saw there in Infra, they also show up on DeFi. That's number 1 token by market cap. In that category, Griffane, Hey Anon, I'll probably mention them here in just a bit too, OLAS, and LMT. And then I'll just go by these categories combined just to look at mindshare and see who's leading here. It's AIXBT at the top. So dominating mindshare, maybe not market cap so much anymore, but followed by Virtual, Fartcoin, Banker. Banker's looking interesting too. And AI16Z. There's your top 5 over there. I got to ask you too, because I like to also show. I don't want to say these are my favorite coins, but these are how I'm kind of using these coins to measure the market. So we're just going a level deeper and looking at their charts. Do you have a favorite coin you want me to pull up here while I'm looking at these?
So just very quickly, I was just gonna say, oh, sorry, can you still hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, very quickly, I was just gonna say, you mentioned the category DeFi, which is very interesting. I saw because BNB chain's getting a bit of hype right now. I saw someone on Twitter say it was so easy for them to bridge their ETH, to on Arbitrum to B&B using this DeFi tool versus them manually doing it. So yeah, it seems like people are finding use cases for it. So it's interesting to see how people are using it. In terms of favorite token right now, um, I don't know. Like, I think it's I kind of like Arc still. I don't really hold a position anymore, but Arc is interesting to me. I'm following what they're doing because they're trying to be like Virtual's competitor. So and they're holding up, I think, pretty well. It's just so I'm watching them closely and I want to see if they launch anything good.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up for a couple reasons. So I'm gonna pull it up on Deck Screener here. Again, I'm going to show some. Again, they're my benchmarks or whatever. They're my barometer for this space. ARC belongs in that conversation. I don't think I had it pulled up before. As I pull it up, you guys, we did look at it yesterday, and it's one of the best performers out there. $310 million market cap. And this is where I need to remind people what I said before. This man right below me here, that's my quant. I get a lot of my early info from him. He's very plugged in. He's very good. I learned of ARC from him at maybe a 5 mil market cap or 10, and it was no more than 20. I remember 20 is when I got in, but I heard of it from you much earlier. So do you recall when you first started mentioning that?
Yeah, it's crazy how early we were to this one. I mean, my issue is like when they execute, will it be a sell the news event? So I don't know. Sometimes I overthink things as well.
Well, it's smart to think that it is, and most of this stuff has been a sell the news kind of thing. But that said, and we'll get to this, I think, in just a minute, but I do think the space is changing, maybe moving away from agents and not fully moving away. Like agents are going to be everywhere and doing so much, but maybe the value of agents is going to get a little more realistic, and maybe the infrastructure plays and the frameworks and the launch, but like stuff like ARC are the things that really start maybe outperforming agents. I'm decently optimistic on these guys still. It was a great call on your part and to see it that early. So there it is. Up in the past 24 hours, and I don't think much else is, but again, that $310-ish, $306 million market cap. It's a spicy one, man. Here is AIXBT. Again, we saw it just before, down 13% in the past 24 hours, right? Down to 200 mil right now.
That is another of my favorite ones, despite it making mistakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you said, it does still have generally decent mindshare.
I mean, look, if that's its purpose is mindshare, and it does a lot more. It does the insights and alpha, and it's okay at that. I know it's got some errors here because it's pulling a lot of data from Twitter, but if its purpose is to get mindshare, there's nobody better. And mindshare and attention is worth a lot. It's most of the value of any token out there. I don't care if it's a utility token or an agent or it doesn't, or a pure meme coin. It's all attention. If that guy is the best at getting it, GG's, that's a great product then.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, there was AIXBT. VVV had that awesome V-shaped recovery, and now it's maybe making another V, but down almost 18% here in the past 24 hours, under 200 mil. Any thoughts on VVV?
I was initially bullish on it when it launched, but then when you saw the insiders selling, the team selling, it's not. I obviously teams are allowed to sell and they should, but the way they were selling and everything, it's just a bit off-putting. And I do think these things matter. The space is pretty small, and if you get called out on the timeline and stuff, it does really impact the product. So, I mean, it still seems like a good product, but I haven't really used it since all the FUD.
Yeah, it's one that I think deserves more attention, and I haven't given it. At some point, probably I'll do a deep dive on it. It's a legit contender. It's one of the big boys here in the space now. So it's why I'm now pulling it up daily to, at the very least, review prices. Fartcoin again, 512 mil market cap, down about 10% in the past 24 hours. And then finally, GOAT, I think, is my personal opinion. I think this is what inspired everything happening. I really do. I don't think it's Turbo. I don't think anybody thinks it's Turbo, by the way, but I have a hard time understanding how Turbo is worth more other than, sometimes there's no rules to this thing. I think GOAT is very interesting. The fact that it's fallen so low doesn't mean it's going to make you a bunch of money. I don't even care about that. I just happen to think this has inspired most of what's going on. At one point, I asked AIXBT, what's the CryptoPunks of AI tokens and what inspired this stuff? And it said GOAT, which I take that for, yeah, I don't know, believe AI XBT or not, but I happen to agree with him. Anyway, what was that? $116 million market cap. Now, moving on, and you're going to see we're talking a little bit about infrastructure kind of plays here. There was ARK, of course, AI16Z. I think I've always been a big fan of them. Shaw side, who's a big old wild card, and I like the guy, but he's a wild card. Still, that is the project or AI token with the best inflows here in the past 24 hours. What is this? 344. God, getting old. The eyes. Okay, I can't tell. I'm assuming that's 1,000, which sounds really low. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know. I wish I could see that a little better. Hang on. Let's see if I can zoom in here. But either way, it's pretty clear that AI16Z is leading in inflows. Dude, I can't even zoom that in. Let me see. Oh, it is. It is just about 340,000. It's 76 million in inflows. It's just under that in outflows, but net, 344,000 in inflows there. But dude, like AI16Z to me makes a lot of sense. Like, you can't deny the fact that it's been, one of the most popular products in the world. It has been at points the number one repository on GitHub. I don't know if it still is, by the way, but for a while it was. People are actually using it. It's one of the most recognizable AI products in the world at this point, which is crazy to say. So seeing it bounce from, the low 300 millions back up to 500 plus, I'm not surprised. You and I have chatted about AI16Z a lot. This is one of those ones that I still think has a bright future. Although, what do you know, if anything, because I really don't know here, but about any changes they're going through now? Like, I know Shaw's heads down, like, maybe restructuring this thing, and they're working on ELIZA OS v2. Like, do you know anything going on in this ecosystem and changes coming?
No, the same information that and I know that they hired did they hire like a COO as well? That was the last I heard on this project.
It's interesting because they're very quiet right now. Again, like, Shaw did tweet out that that he's like going to be disappeared for a few weeks. So I don't know. Pretty interesting to me. Either way, that kind of like GOAT. It's another one I see a ton of potential in. I'll save some more of my bullish talk for another episode, maybe when I'm solo, because I'm very bullish on that one. I'll just be honest. But
I did see, I don't know if you've been following the Jason project, Partners DAO. Well, I guess they're not. It's not their project, but the guy who made their NFT collection made a project, Partners DAO, that is currently doing his fundraise. That's doing pretty well. It's kind of weird. I don't know if you've seen, but you can actually do the fundraise and you can actually sell the token even though it's fully vested. You can sell the whole allocation because it's a test token, and it's a 50 to 80x from the fundraise. That's pretty interesting that there still is appetite. You could only like put in like $1, but your $1 is worth like like $70 to $80 at the moment. So it's pretty good.
That's cool, considering there was a lot of FUD there from, I think it was what you said, like that small investment you could make. And again, I know people are buying NFTs to get allocations here, or at least to be able to take part in the like token sale or DAO token sale, however whatever exactly that was. And I know people were disappointed at first, but sounding like that's turned around there. Which you participate in that?
Yeah, I was holding the NFT, so I got qualified on the snapshot. So I did participate in it. The NFT allocation was slightly bigger. It would have still been better to just sell the NFT during the hype, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's surprising me. It's doing better than I thought.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting right now with everything down so much, and you definitely are starting to see like separation between things that actually have a future and they have a product, and you know what I mean. There's a little more substance there. This is definitely that time where the separation starts happening. So I'm definitely watching here. I do think this all comes back. I think it comes back hard. And again, it's kind of like we were just saying. I think it's the quality stuff. Tommy here, thinking it's things like virtuals and AI16Z and ARK and maybe something like Partners DAO. And I do think DAOs are a very important thing to be watching this cycle. The DAOs focused on AI.
What do you think of AI Accelerate, the one that had a lot of controversy?
Well, funny enough, when you started mentioning partners now, that's what popped in my head. And I'm like, okay, they got the partnership with Virtuals and they're going to be, giving out grant money and they're building. And I still like them. They have too many big names and key players involved for it to be like truly nothing. How good they are, how high the token gets, what they build, great unknown. But they have bigger potential than most, again, just because of the people involved, from Sammy and the bankless guys. I don't know to what degree they're involved still. And then, forward facing guys like Thread Guy, who are still a part of that, and Saigar as a dev, right? They just have like an all-star lineup there. They really do. I'd be shocked if they didn't produce something awesome. And that could happen, like a great chance that happens. But I'd be shocked if it doesn't do well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really like the way they launched, but as in, they farmed people to try and get a spot, but then they didn't really they only gave it to, people they knew or large accounts. But the intention is there, and I did see they're doing announcements and stuff. So, and then they've got the bankless guys like Ejaz fronting it. So yeah, I think it's one to watch. I probably will not be, buying it, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it because if they can move the space forward, that would be pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the DAO meta still makes sense. It's, having enough funds to build stuff that matters, I think, is kind of important. AI, but I chatted with my brother last night about the cost involved with building AI products. It's way more than people realize. It's way more. Like the cost to just access, like things like ChatGPT and right to even like this stuff is gated. It is, and it's like metered, and the cost to run this stuff is tremendous. I don't think a lot of builders who are maybe dabbling in AI maybe know that up front. So it probably takes a DAO like this who's got the funding to do it. Anyway, it's a stacked lineup. I have to watch them. I think people really do need to watch them. And there's the Tommy guy. We were just looking at some of his tweets, also involved here. I didn't even realize, but stacked. I'm watching. All right, I'm gonna try to keep this to 30 minutes, which means we're gonna blitz through the rest of this, and we'll go over by just a few minutes, but we'll blitz through the rest here.
Sure.
I mentioned DeFi just a bit ago as something you got to be paying attention to. Very interesting. DeFi is the one sector of this agentic ecosystem that's up this month. So month to date here, DeFi, it is in the green. And I think it makes sense, dude. I think it makes sense that there's so many agents, as we knew would happen, people now demanding utility. And these DeFi-enabled agents that can trade for you or give you alpha, and they do classify things that just give you alpha as a DeFi agent, but it makes sense that those are the things people are interested in now. And it just maybe is giving us a glimpse that this space is heading more towards people valuing real products. So we see Arc here announcing their first DeFi agent. It's a trading agent. It's called Ask Jimmy. No token on this yet. I think that will... I'm going to assume that's going to be pretty hot when it is announced and when that token is live, as hot as ARC is. So it's kind of matching up the ARC token that's hot or the ARC project that's hot along with the sector of AI that's hot right now in DeFi. That probably is a good one to keep the eye on too. Thoughts in general about the DeFi stuff, anything that you're watching, but general thoughts on it?
Yeah, like I was saying before, I think it's useful for things like bridging over things across chains, and it's interesting that it's the only sector in green. I'm not sure what I personally would use it for, but I think I just need to try them out a bit more because there's so many different products like Hey Anon, Grift,
right,
all of those ones. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on.
Those are neat. I'll be honest; those are probably the kind of things I'm excited about. I think I mentioned yesterday. How do I describe what I am? I'm sort of technical. I'm not super technical. I'm not a developer. I can find my way through a blockchain explorer. I'm not a dev. I can't code. I struggle with an explorer. I'm not great still at manually entering or pumping gas if I'm on ETH and I need to pump gas for it. Right? I'm not that. And so something like this, like Shaw's saying here, until I can text my agent, send $30 worth of ETH to my wife from my new wallet, and you can expand on that to something that gets more complex. But until we get there, we haven't solved the hard problem. And then, like you mentioned in Hey Anon, and there's an agent you'll see here in the replies, banker, we're kind of already there. Agents are starting to do that. And my mind is just open up to this idea that I've heard people say out there. And by the way, it's kind of what we're building at CryptoSlam. It's that this stuff is becoming the UI UX of crypto. For us, it's that agents are the way to explore the blockchain. You know, see, if you get hacked, the first thing you do is run to the Explorer and see what happened, what transaction, what did you approve, where did it go, what are they doing with it. And I know most people can't read this stuff. I know that because if I struggle with it, you know what I mean? The fact that agents will do that for you, I think, is magic. The fact that you have these very complicated transactions of bridging assets from here to here and then transferring to the next, it's complicated. AI is going to do this for you, and these people are showing Shaw right now it already works. So somebody here using Banker to send him a token. I think the Banker token, but if it can't do other tokens yet, it's coming. It's man, it's fascinating stuff. It's growing so fast.
For real. Yeah. It definitely that's a good way to put it. The UI of crypto.
I don't think, by the way, anybody owns that narrative yet, and I think we're about to surprise them. That's a little spoiler for people that are watching here. I think that's the message. I've heard people I've heard it mentioned, right? But I don't think anybody has realized how powerful that is. And for me, that is what we've been building out. You guys are going to see, but for a year and a half now, to me, it is that. To me, it is this UI UX layer that lets me actually understand blockchain in a way I just can't do it with what's out there now. I'm excited for that stuff. I'll wrap up with the next last few things, but also again, AI agents and their utility. It is changing. It is growing. We need it. We can't just have these things that chat. Interesting one I found today, an agent that goes on something like Pump Fun, and it does confusion work that you've done, and you've actually taught me some of this stuff, like scanning tokens and knowing what to look for to see if it's a scam, how bundled they are, and checking socials and things like that. It's an agent that does that for you. I don't know if it's on autopilot. We've seen some of these things that very much are automated, but this thing can go on Pump Fun and scan a token for you. Would you use something like that?
That's interesting. I mean, I personally just scan on Telegram, and the bot will give me all that information. But I mean, I can see a use case. I don't know exactly how, but I guess if you were getting it to trade for you, and it was checking all this information first,
there you go.
that'd
If
be
it's
pretty useful.
you're looking to trade and you want it to filter out all the stuff that you don't want to see at first, which you can kind of manually do. Well, not even kind of. You can manually do that on, I think something like Photon, right? You can set your filters to block out a lot of that stuff. But there's something magic about just saying this thing, hey, I'm ready to roll for today. Go get me my report ready. And it already knows from yesterday what you like and what you don't like. And you could tweak it with a command too, you know?
Yeah, like for example, everyone's waiting for CZ's dog, right? So you would ask it to look for that, scan, avoid bundles, or whatever, and maybe buy a few, and hopefully you've got the legit one or something, whenever that comes out. So yeah, I could see a use case.
Yep. All right, I'm going to leave this up to you then, because we can wrap here and we're right at 30 minutes. I want to talk about Story briefly. Guys, we talked Story yesterday also briefly. We mentioned their TGE is coming tomorrow, the IP token. Confusion, if you want to riff on that for a few minutes, and I know I had learned of Story from you, so I know you know a little more than I do about it. If you want to talk about that now, if you want to come back tomorrow on TGE Day for a few minutes and also talk about it, your call, but is that something you want to get into right now?
I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the TG goes tomorrow. I personally haven't looked into it much since then. But I know you were mentioning something about how it's useful for AI. Is that because of the data it generates?
It's because in my understanding of Story Protocol, it's very much like, okay, you can kind of think of it like this open source repository, but think of it as this, I think, a place where people are storing data, storing licenses to IP, and opening it up for anybody in that ecosystem to use, especially agents to use, and monetizing that data, monetizing that IP through these tokens. So I just see this world where, again, agents need to be smart. They need to be smart, and they need to have content that they're kind of building off of and talking about, and in a way like making derivatives of. And it's all just interconnected somehow, some way. It's funny because we're still early enough in AI where it's a little abstract, like what exactly it's going to do with these things. We just know that the more information they have, it's like any information, but the more they have, the smarter they're going to be and the more creative they're going to get. So Story, my understanding is it's actually, let me even pull it up here. I do want to put on your radar, though, and it's something I saw yesterday. Aria. Is Aria on your radar? It's actually part of that Story protocol.
Honestly, no. But I first heard it from you when we were discussing the pre-show.
Yeah, that one is the one specifically. Again, I think there's a lot of IP products that are going to be on Story Protocol. Like they even leased Luna for a small period of time, and they leased Cerebro, right? So there's all kinds of IP things happening there. But Aria specifically is leasing. It's IP ownership, and it's turning this IP into RWAs. They have a Miley Cyrus Dua Lipa song that they already own, right? They have a Justin Bieber song, and I don't know if Aria token holders actually own a stake in that too. We're running back the 21-22 royalty thing, which is, I don't know, dude. It's interesting. I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't know yet. I don't know if this ecosystem, because of AI, is finally where it needs to be to actually like realize those things. I don't know, but I know we're running back narratives from last cycle. I know that for sure.
For real.
So here's Story. Again, this is kind of a repeat yesterday, just some of the tokenomics. I do want to find, I want to see if they have like a TLDR on exactly what it is. Guys, the AI stuff is so, it's like, it's abstract. It is interesting. It's like, it's very, very new products that kind of are tying in a whole bunch of ideas here. Yeah, I'm not going to go through this. I'm not going through the light paper right now. It's funny. Like I thought I had enough of a grasp on exactly what they were. But I don't know if their light paper is 16 pages long. Maybe not. Maybe not. Safe to say, it is somehow monetizing data. Again, you put your data and you put your IP on that chain. You can monetize it when agents and other people use it. That's probably a very brief TLDR on it. But I think we'll go into more detail there. And by the way, just reminded me something I was thinking earlier. I think during this show, again, we'll keep it to 30 minutes, but I think we need to do more deep dives on specific projects. Again, we'll get some interviews here, but specific project breakdowns I think will be helpful. So, dude, let's wrap there. But any final thoughts on where we're heading, maybe in the short term with this with the AI ecosystem?
Short term, I think we need to see what Arc and AI16Z bring out with when they start launching their flywheel, like I guess launching agents and using, because they need to find a way to burn the token and generate value to the token. So I think that is interesting. Maybe agents. I think with all the ChatGPT improvements, you might see better agents coming through. I think you're going to see a crossover with gaming and AI. So for example, one that's on my radar is Wolves DAO. I don't know if you've heard of them, the big gaming DAO. They are launching their AI gaming token. So that's pretty interesting. So I think we'll see a lot more of that as well.
I like it a lot. How do you say this guy's name, by the way? I'll end on this. Is it Ejaz?
I think Ejaz, yeah, he's the Bankless guy, right?
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's the Bankless dude. I didn't know that. Okay. All right.
He's the Asian guy on Bankless, on the Bankless AI videos.
Got it. Okay, that's good to know. All right, I like where he's talking or where his head's at. It's basically, it almost sums up everything we're talking about. It's kind of moving away from these, kind of dumb agents. People need these smart agents. It's getting very competitive. They need to do things. They need to know things. It's all heading to data and infrastructure. That is where this space, at least where I see it going, it makes a lot of sense. I think that's where he's seeing it go too. There's not a lot of, I don't think there's a lot of big infrastructure plays out there. He's mentioning the few. It's Virtuals, it's Arc, it's AI16Z. I don't know this one, Gizatech. I'm not familiar with that one. I do want to look into it. There's definitely a few. Those are the things I'm keeping my eye on. I recommend you guys do too. And of course, know that we're building in that direction too. So make sure you're following us at SlamAI_XYZ. And again, follow on YouTube, subscribe, SlamX Official. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Oh wait, I want to put Confusion socials up here because he is, he's incredible. Hang on, I want you guys to follow this man. There we go, Confusion, the legend. Great tweets, great threads. Has a great. Oh, I don't know if I can. Yeah, he's got great alpha. I'll just say that. You can find your way there. Confusion, dude. Thank you so much for hanging and joining, and come back often.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a fun show.
Good stuff. All right, have a great afternoon, guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time right here for Chain Reactor, and then the afternoon Swarm Report. We'll see you guys. Peace.
Peace.